Does the system actually work?
Grab the duct tape and mentally prepare yourself for yet another mind-expanding knowledge bomb from America's #1 business coach, Clay Clark.
That's it. Bombs away.
Yes, 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 and yes. On today's show, we are talking about something that is near and dear to my heart, and that is the system works. Steve Currington is on the show. He is a mortgage. Steve, how would you describe yourself? I describe you as the bowling ball of the mortgage industry, but could you please explain what you do for a living?
Yeah, I do residential home loans. So if you're buying a house and you need the money to buy a house to live in or rent or whatever you're going to do it with, that's me. I get the financing.
Well, a lot of people email in, hey, does this work? Does your system actually work? And there's this thing called the law of cause and effect.
Yep.
So I'm going to give you a couple examples of these laws. The law of cause and effect in action. One, Steve, is when you and I first met, I said, Steve, this is probably meeting 4 or 5, whatever. I said, you have to get 1 Google review every day, and you have to release 1 podcast a day.
Yep.
And if you do that, you will be rewarded or awarded the top spot in Google for the search engine results.
Right.
We had this conversation.
Yeah.
So for all the listeners out there that want to take just a moment and Google Tulsa Mortgage,
right?
Tulsa Mortgage, you're going to find that your business. How many years ago did we first really connect and start working together?
December of 15. But
Okay,
we
so
really start working on it until February of 16. So we're coming up on
3 years.
Is that right? Yeah, 3 years.
So I asked you. I said, hey, we need to get 1 Google review a day and do 1 podcast a day.
Yep.
To get to be the top in Google.
Correct.
Because the Google search engine algorithm is based upon, there's 4 variables. It's whoever has the most canonical compliance. We'll put this on the show notes. Basically, whoever has the most Google compliance. Does your site follow the Google rules?
Right.
2, whoever has the most mobile compliance. Right.
Right.
3, whoever has the most reviews.
Yep.
Objective, honest reviews from real customers, past and present. And 4, it's whoever has the most content.
Correct.
And how many other people have told you it's more complicated than that? Steve, you don't understand. Clay doesn't know what he's talking about, or a blog or another marketing company. How many times have you just run into somebody telling you it's different?
I mean, now because I am top in Google,
right?
I get
a
call a day that tells me that they want me to hire them to do it, but I'm already there. But yeah, I mean, everybody seems to be an expert when it comes to whether it be social media or how Google works.
And do people, just a general rule, who are trying to market to you, typically try to slam me as a way to get the business? Don't they typically go, yeah, he doesn't know what he's talking about?
Right. It's actually not what you do, but that's actually, I think, the move with a lot of industries and a lot of companies. They can't, you know what I mean? They can't stand on their own merit of how great they are. They have to stand on the top of someone else and tell them how bad they are.
So the law of cause and effect. So now if all the listeners out there just want to Google search real quick, Tulsa Mortgage,
yep,
you're going to find that you're top.
Yep, you'll find Total Lending Concepts. We have 300 and, I think we have 329 reviews as of this moment. So
yeah.
329.
And then we have stevecurrington.com on page 1. Now you can type in different things like Tulsa Mortgages or Mortgages Tulsa, and you're always going to be in the top 5 results.
Yeah, and we have I think you guys have done probably near 50 or 75 or even 100 different keywords that we're top for now. So,
and the reason why I'm not throwing Steve under the bus, but what happened is you had a competitor that's being a little price shady, and you lost a few reviews. You had to get them reviewed and purified and all that bona fide. But the thing is, you got the reviews every day. You wrote the content every day. So again, cause and effect. You do those things. That's the cause that produces the effect of being top in Google.
Right.
Cause and effect. Let's do another example. Steve, we talked. I said, Steve, what you got to do, you got to record your calls, man.
Yep.
Your calls have to be recorded. The calls need to be recorded, and then we need to listen to the calls.
Yep.
Step 1, we got to record the calls. Step 2, we got to have a script. Step 3, we got to train our people and listen to the calls in the training.
Yes.
Step 1, we got to record the calls. Step 2, got to have a script. Step 3, we got to train the people and listen to the calls.
Mm-hmm.
How long did I say that, you think? How many times did I say that?
Oh, man, a long time. And I think for the first 6, 7, 8 months, I don't know how long I was a knucklehead, but I thought, Clay,
Clay.
This stuff, this in my head, this is golden. I can't.
Man, let me tell you this, babies. The things that are in my head right now.
I can't teach this to somebody. It just comes
it's
out.
Unbelievable.
I'm good.
Everyone feels like my industry is different.
Yeah.
You couldn't possibly train somebody else to do
script what's in my brain.
It can't script my brain. Come on. You want to script this? You can't script it. So people range from upset to uncoachable to doubtful to fearful to whatever that is. But the law of cause and effect, now that you do record your calls and you do have a script and you do weekly training, have you not sold more mortgages?
Yes, absolutely.
How many mortgages are you guys at Total Lending Concepts, pushing across the finish line, getting done on a weekly basis right now, you think? If you think just weekly,
Yeah, probably. I would say about 20. We're a smaller company. We're not like the big ones.
It's like 20 mortgages, though.
Yeah. Just in if you compared that to a couple of years ago, that's I think we're nearing triple what we were doing before. And obviously that ebbs and flows. Sometimes it's colder in some of our markets, so the volume goes down. Right now it's wintertime. It goes down.
But you're in Colorado and you're in Tulsa, and all I'm saying is that, and has it ever occurred to you that very few people wake up with a burning desire to pay you and just randomly find your name through the cosmos?
Right. Yeah. I don't. I think I wish that was the case. I wish people just were like, I need to call.
This just in business tip. People will not randomly find your name through the cosmos and call you saying, is this Steve? I want to pay you.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people feel like law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect doesn't apply to them because they're going through a divorce.
Yeah.
Or they're going, I have a headache. My kids right now, my kids are in some trouble. It is the holidays. I can't, Steve, it is the month of December. Steve, December, Thanksgiving. Do I not show up every day? Do I not show up?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. You call it, and I've adopted this, you call it the holiplagues.
Right.
Because it's the holidays and it's like a plague. But
it would be so nice, holiplagues.
Funny thing is, in real estate, because I do the mortgage, we work with a lot of realtors, And in real estate, it's funny because I would say about like that second week in November,
people start mailing it in.
They just start checking out. They're like, here comes Thanksgiving. Right. Then I'm not going to work in December. And then about January the 4th, they're like, dear God, I need to get back to work. So the agents that we work with, that we have great relationships with, that produce at a high level, they don't play that game. I think a lot of maybe you're part-timers, nothing wrong with them, great people.
If we took a holiday.
They want to take a holiday every day.
Took some time to celebrate. Come on, Steve. Here we go. Just one day out of life. Oh, yeah, here we go. Oh, it would be so nice, holidays. Holidays.
That's right.
Poor entrepreneurs. Holidays. I took the month off. People take the month off and they get poor because the law of cause and effect.
Yep.
One, search engines. If you don't get a review a day and you don't write the content, you don't do a podcast every day. Steve, when you do a podcast, we transcribe the content, thus making you top in Google. It's not more complicated. But people, how often do you see people fighting back going, does it really work?
Yeah.
Does it really work?
Well, I think.
Does it really? Every day? Every day?
Yeah.
Every day? You mean success requires doing the same thing over and over every day? Are you freaking kidding me?
That's what I love about the book that you suggested that I read, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. And it talks a lot about drifting. And that's what people do. They get comfy and they realize, oh, look, here we got 12 reviews in a row. And
we got 12 reviews in a row.
Let's relax. And then they don't realize, a lot of businesses, my business is this way, but a lot of businesses are, you do work today, you get paid in 30 days or 60 days. It's somewhere down the road. And people don't realize that when they're having a really terrible February, it's based on that month they took off in December.
Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to now give my third example of cause and effect. And then I'm going to play a audio. Because I think a lot of times on the show, I tend to do a lot of the talking. And I thought, why don't we let one of our clients do the talking and share about her success? Her company, her name is Jennifer Allen, and her company is a therapy company based in Tucson, Arizona. And I want all of our listeners to hear that, and you can break it down and kind of take notes about what Jennifer Allen is saying to you. But I have one more example of cause and effect that I'd like to really deep dive into. So this one's going to be a little tough, though.
Okay.
Are you ready for it?
I'm ready for it.
Andrew, are you ready for it?
I'm so ready.
Okay, here we go. Nobody gives a crap about your feelings, especially the bank.
True.
Bankers don't say, "Oh, welcome to the bank. Would you like to deposit your feelings? How much sales did you want to do?"
Yeah.
And then how much do you intend to deposit today? They don't do that.
Nope.
They give you a sucker, which is cool because the suckers love suckers. They say, "I'm a sucker. Can I get a sucker too?"
I think they give you a sucker because, like, if you're there making a deposit, they're like, "You're such a sucker. Take one."
Seriously though,
giving us your money.
Seriously though, banks. Andrew? Have you noticed this? That banks don't say, "All right, there, Tiger." I mean, Andrew, you went to the hospital one time. Remember the hospital?
No, I did.
When you went to the hospital, did the banker say to you, you go deposit your bank? They say, "Hey, buddy, you were at the hospital." Now, if you were in Europe, you would say, "I went to hospital." Because you don't say the hospital. "I went to hospital." But does the banker say, "Oh, you went to the hospital? Wow. You know what we should do is we should double your deposit." Did anybody do that?
No. That would have been nice, but no.
They don't. So if you're an entrepreneur,
you don't get a pass.
You don't get a pass. There's no sick days. There's no days off. And so I thought what I'm going to do, you know what I'm going to do, Steve? I'm going to interview my friend, the co-founder of the Ritz-Carlton. I'm going to get Horst Schultz on the show.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask him, I'm going to say, "Horst, what would you say to a listener that says, 'You're so mean. I just don't feel like making cold calls because I'm afraid'?" I mean, okay. I mean, let's scale that idea out to the Navy SEALs. What if the Navy SEALs only attacked the enemy when they weren't scared?
Or when they felt good.
Right. What if NBA players only play on the days they didn't have sore knees?
Right.
They play 82 games or 81 games, 82 games. All I'm saying is the top performers say to their feelings, "Screw my feelings." They say, "Feelings, screw you, feelings. I'm going to get the work done." But that's my harsh take, right? So I said, "Horst, you're a guy. You started Ritz-Carlton. You're super successful. Ritz-Carlton, folks, the apex of customer service." I said, "Horst, please explain to our listeners your thoughts on this mindset that you should only do something if you feel good, and what role your feelings should play in your daily action steps." And this is what Horst said.
"Well, we don't feel like it." What? This is so unreasonable to even allow that to happen. You're waiting for feeling. I rather make a decision what my feeling is, rather than make a feeling make my decisions. You make a decision, and then you have to fight the decision. You have to fight against the feelings that try to interfere with your decision.
Think about that. He just said you have to fight with the feelings that are trying to interfere with your decision. What? So think about that. Jennifer Allen out there in Tucson, Arizona, she has a company called Body Central.
Yep.
And every client's path is a little bit different action items.
Yeah.
But what if she had said, "Steve, I don't want to get it done because I don't feel like it"?
Yeah, she would like, and I've heard a little bit about Jen Allen. So
diligent doer.
Yeah, I know that her business has grown dramatically.
Yes.
And I think then she would have maybe not seen that growth, and she would have, been close to the same size that she was before, and she'd have different problems probably, I think.
But the system works if you implement the plan.
Yeah.
What if you had only done podcasts on the days you felt good? Dude, I saw you. I don't know, this isn't a passive-aggressive, backhanded compliment, but there were days where you looked bad.
Yeah.
I remember you came in one time with Tyler, and you were like a head cold or sick or something.
Well, and I was really mad at Tyler a lot because he would come in. He's even deader asleep than I am, and I literally had a soundbite that was
5 in the morning.
Yeah, I had a soundbite that was like, "Wake up, Tyler. Tyler, wake up." And I told him, every time you yawn, I'm playing that. So we have like several podcasts where it's just, "Wake up, Tyler. Tyler, wake up. Tyler, wake up."
You guys recorded what time did you record every day?
Like 5:36 in the morning.
Did you want to
6:30.
come in then?
No.
No. But you wanted the success. You were excited about, motivated about. You had a vision for the future. You wanted to build a successful company, and you did what Jennifer Allen did, the co-founder of Body Central. Look up that company. It's Body Central. It's based in Tucson, Arizona. Body Central. She said to her feelings, "Screw off feelings. I'm going to get it done." You said, "Screw off feelings. I'm going to get it done."
Yep.
You did a podcast every day. You did the reviews every day. That's what you did. You recorded your calls. You had a script. You do every day. You listen to the calls. Now, I thought, you know what I'm going to do, Steve, before I play this audio clip, I'm going to call Steve Jobs. I'm going to call him. I'm going to call him. Andrew, and do we have what is our motto here as it relates to calling leads or at the Thrivetime Show?
You got to call them until they cry, buy, or die.
We call every lead until they
cry, buy, or die.
And so I thought, gosh, we got to call every lead, Andrew, until they
cry, buy, or die.
But the problem is if they're already dead,
you got to try harder.
Right.
Exactly right.
So Steve couldn't be here on today's show. May he rest in peace. But this is what Steve Jobs would have said if he could be here. So Steve Jobs, I got to ask you, my friend, how do I push through working hard even though I have the sniffles? Steve, I have a wife and 5 kids, and bad things occasionally happen to us. We've had 2 miscarriages. My dad died from Lou Gehrig's disease. My son was born blind, but I never took a month off to emotionally regroup because I couldn't afford to, because you can't. If you want to become self-employed and to become successful, you're going to become self-unemployed, and it's going to be very stressful if you recoil emotionally every time something bad happens to you. Everyone that I know who is worth over $1 million refuses to call in sick when they don't feel good because they don't care how they feel. You should not listen to your feelings. I said, Steve Jobs, I would say to you, Steve Jobs, if you could talk to our listeners today about starting a business and the importance of being consistent and pushing through adversity, what would you say to our listeners?
You have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing, and it's totally true. And the reason is because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard, and you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it and you don't really love it, you're going to give up. And that's what happens to most people, actually. If you really look at the ones that ended up being successful, unquote, in the eyes of society and the ones that didn't, oftentimes it's the ones that are successful loved what they did so they could persevere when it got really tough.
You got to love the process. So let me just help re-educate somebody out there that needs to get this. Steve, you see this all the time. I talk about it all the time. Andrew, you've seen this. I eat rejection for what, Andrew?
For breakfast.
And right. Lunch. I like to invite some big people on this show.
Yep.
We just had Wolfgang Puck confirmed to be on the show. Wolfgang Puck is confirmed to be on the show.
Oh, see, I know him as Wolfgang, not Wolfgang.
Wolfgang, we drive the Volkswagen. No, we invited him to be on the show. We have a.
He's the hockey player, right?
No, that's the celebrity chef.
Okay.
We just invited Guy Kawasaki.
Yeah.
We just recorded Guy Kawasaki.
That was big.
The founder of Ritz-Carlton. The #1 PR consultant in the history of the world, Michael Levine. How crazy when Michael Levine was at the workshop?
Yeah.
I had to pay Michael Levine one time $25,000 to spend a half day with him.
Can I tell you a funny story about that? That I think's funny that you shared with me?
What?
Is you said that you called him that morning.
Yes.
And texted him to confirm.
Yes.
And what did he say to you?
He basically was not happy that I would have to confirm because if he said he's going to do it, he's going to do it.
I could see why you would confirm, but he was like, I'm not that guy.
Right.
I said I'd be there.
And all I'm saying is the super successful people are there.
Yeah.
If he says he's going to be there, doesn't matter. He's going to do it. But if you're running around going, I just don't feel like, you're going to lose. And it's okay. You can get a job somewhere where you can call in sick and you get sick days and you get tenure and you get to have somebody say to you, you know what, you've worked so well. You get to have paid time off, personal days. I don't have any freaking personal days. When my son was born blind, you think I called in personal days? What the crap is that? It's unbelievable. As a young kid, I was sexually abused. Do I sit there and dwell on it all day? No. Does it affect me? Yes. How does it affect me? I don't trust people. That helps me in business, though. I'm paranoid. Before my dad died, I called my dad, and I asked my dad, how long do we have? How long do you think you'll be healthy? And I felt terrible knowing that my dad was going to die of Lou Gehrig's disease. It felt horrible knowing that, but I still had to go to work the next day. I can't bounce checks and not make payroll and not make pay obligatory payments for things or pay the taxes for my building. I had to continue moving on. Regardless of how tough of a situation it was for me, I had to keep moving. I had to keep going on. If you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to take days off when you don't feel good, it is a ridiculous, diametrically opposed idea. You cannot be a successful entrepreneur if you want sick days. Nobody cares. You have to show up. Come on, man. Michael Jordan played his best games when he was sick. Just shut up and show up to your freaking meeting. Shut up. Tell your feelings to shut up and just show up. We have to learn to tell our feelings to shut up, and we have to make ourselves show up if we want to win as an entrepreneur. I woke up today at 3:30. Andrew, do you think I'm excited to wake up at 3:30?
Not at all.
I'm not excited. I don't want to wake up at 3:30.
I got up at 3:29, so
yeah, I don't want to though. I'm serious though.
3:31.
I'm a father of 5 kids. Do you think that sometimes I want to drive to Boy Scouts to pick up my son? No, I want to see my son, but do I want to drive in the cold? No, but I refuse to even acknowledge that I have feelings. And if you're out there and you are offended by this concept, then take your broke self to some place where people will label you as a victim, and those places are abundant because most people would rather be a victim than to be a victor. And then go see a psychologist who would say something like, how do you feel when people raise your voice? When they raise their voice to you, how do you feel? You know, there's a lot of males out there that need to apologize for being a male. Get out of here! I grew up at a time when my dad could hit me with a wooden spoon if I didn't do what I was supposed to do. And it hurt, and it helped. Because that was real talk. Now, let's wear a helmet. Let's have Bobby wear. Bobby, can you wear a helmet, and then could you wear some padded pants? Because I want to spank you with a piece of paper. It's so stupid. And then you lost in soccer, but we don't want to offend you, so we give you a third-place trophy. You want a third-place trophy?
Participation.
When I grew up, you didn't get a trophy. It's ridiculous. I can't. How do you get a trophy for finishing 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, whatever? Maybe you say, well, there's gold and silver.
You get
and
a
bronze.
trophy for not finishing now.
It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
I think if we could start, because a lot of people are identifying as certain things. So if you just start identifying as a jerk, then you get the pass, right? If you just identify, hey guys, hey listen, I identify as a jerk.
But then what happens? But then what happens is when you are around people that are extraordinary, you're going to discover how insanely hard extraordinary people work. When you see people who are very successful, the top optometrist in the town, the top hair salon in the town, the top bank in the town, the top auto auction in the town. There's an insane, maniacal, white-hot level of intensity that these people bring to the workplace every day, which really freaks people out. And I thought, you know what, we should have T.D. Jakes on today's show because, you know, he cares about people. He wants to lead people to Christ. But you know what? He couldn't be here because I've invited him, but I haven't got a yes yet. But I tell you what, I accept the yes in advance. TD, yeah. I know you couldn't be here today, but I'm excited for you to be on the show.
Though.
You're listening there, Tiger. I know you're going to be on the show here soon. But this is what TD Jakes has to say about what happens when people understand, when they start to come to grips with, wow, successful people don't have sick days, no days off. But unsuccessful people have lots of days off and lots of excuses. Successful people don't have any excuses, but unsuccessful people have a lot of excuses. Successful people, the day after the miscarriage, my wife's doing accounting. Unsuccessful people, the day after the miscarriage, they talk about it for about a year. Yeah. And they're just like, I can't get motivated to come back to work. And that's cool. That's cool. And that's cool. And I respect you for that. But you will not make much money. When my son was born blind, I wasn't, I can't work. I mean, I was sad, but I went to work because you have to show up. But I was a wedding DJ. I was booked for up to 200 events a year, 250 events a year, and I showed up. So this is what T.D. Jakes has found. This is what T.D. Jakes says about what happens when ordinary people. By the way, if you're listening today, you're not ordinary. You're just choosing to be ordinary. If you're not working on the days off, if you're not working hard on the days you don't feel good, you're choosing to be ordinary. You're choosing to be ordinary. But if you want to be extraordinary, just show up. But T.D. Jakes says, this is what happens when extraordinary people run into ordinary drifting people.
So Jesus, who is exceptional, is having a conversation with ordinary. And exceptional and ordinary always have a conflict. Anytime exceptional people dwell in the midst of ordinary thinking people, there's always going to be conflict.
Oh, boy. So, again, this is a podcast for diligent doers like you. This is a podcast for people like you who set your alarm for 3:30 and get up. This is not a podcast. No. This is not a show. Steve, this is not a show for the intenders.
Right.
For the happy hopers. For the people who say, I just graduated with a degree that doesn't mean anything. And I just, I wasn't set up for success. My dad was a great guy. He did a lot of great things. Never was an entrepreneur. Somebody out there said, my parents never taught me how to be an entrepreneur. And if that's you, you've got to get over these obstacles, because at the end of the day, you get paid based upon what you do and not based upon what you say you're going to do. You have to learn the proven strategies and implement the proven strategies. And so, without any further ado, I'm going to cue up the audio testimonial from a thriver out there just like you, a lady by the name of Jennifer Allen, based in Tucson, Arizona. Her company, Body Central, has been able to grow and multiply itself at a massive level over the past 3 years as a result of her diligently implementing the proven systems and strategies that we've been teaching her on a weekly basis.
Well, hey, Jen, it's Robert Redmond calling, and we've been working with each other for a while now. And so I just wanted to ask you a few questions, get your feedback. First of all, can you just kind of introduce yourself and tell us about your company and the size of your company and all that?
Sure. So I'm Jennifer Allen. I co-own a physical therapy company. We have 8 locations in Tucson, Arizona, soon to have 9. We have 115 employees. It's been growing like crazy. That's kind of it in a nutshell.
That's pretty impressive. That's great. And how long have you been working with me and with Thrive?
So I started with the online platform and got so much value out of that. I came out and did one of the workshops, which was fantastic. And after that, signed up to do the one-on-one coaching with you starting in March of 2017. So we've been working together since then. Doesn't even seem like that long.
2 years. It's gone by fast.
Yeah, 2 years.
And what are some the practical changes that you've been able to make by working with the one-on-one coaching program over the last 2 years here?
Yeah, so some of the things that we've done, one of the things was the first thing we did was the website development, where I had, the basic website that was just pretty much just informational. And now we have lead generation happening on the website. So we're actually getting live leads from the website. So that was number one thing that we did, which has been a game changer for us. And then as part of that website development, using online advertising to drive people to our site and then further convert them off the website. So that's been great. Part of that also has been the SEO optimization, learning how to do that and, become number one in Google. That's our thing. We are pushing that hard. We're quite successful with that. That's kind of how things went with us. And then from a personnel standpoint, our hiring process, being in Tucson, Arizona, we don't have a lot of access to physical therapists. We have a hard time getting physical therapists to move here. And with changing our hiring and recruiting processes and having a system for that, and for me to do that myself and my team, without having to hire a recruiter and pay them a percentage of a salary, that's been a huge game changer. I hired 12 physical therapists last year. 12. That's unheard of.
12. And these are people with doctorate degrees, doctorates of physical therapy.
Doctorate degrees. So that's been a really, really good thing. And we've also implemented group interviewing system for our administrative personnel, and that has been great too. So, that turnover in those level positions, those administrative positions, tends to be high in the medical industry. So being able to constantly have good candidates in front of us and being prepared if somebody moves or somebody decides they don't want to be a front desk person anymore, it's been really great. We've been able to get somebody good right away, and we're actually getting higher quality candidates because we're not just hiring the first person that comes off the street to fill that position. We're not in that panic mode anymore. We're ahead of the curve, so we're able to pick and choose the best candidate for the position.
Yeah, I remember you sent me a video once, and you guys had like 50 people at your group interviews.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah.
So we run from anywhere from 20 to 30 was a good group for us to manage, but we did have 50 couple people show up for that one group interview.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What are some of the ways that you've grown? There's a lot we've done, but how have you actually grown since you started working with us?
Yeah, so I think personally, my biggest growth areas have been in people management. I'm that softie that kind of lets people walk all over me. And prior to this training, I had a hard time holding people accountable and not feeling bad about it. And so I feel like that is the biggest change in me personally. And it's given me more confidence in dealing with just everything that I deal with on a daily basis with work. Being able to hold people accountable, let them know what their expectations are, and not feel bad about saying, hey, this is what needs to be done in this position, and you're not doing it, and what are we going to do to get you there? And I think I've become a better business owner in general because of it.
That's awesome. And then how has like the company grown since working with us, or what have your numbers look like over the past couple of years?
Yeah. So if we look at gross revenue, I mean, we've basically doubled that in the time that we've worked together. And as far as personnel, we've doubled that. And we've also doubled our number of locations since we started working together. And that's still on an upswing trajectory. So I don't see us slowing that down at all. It's just been crazy growth all the way around.
Yeah, I remember when we first started working with each other, we did your 13-point assessment back in March 2017. I remember you said you just finished the year 2016, and I believe you said you did $3.9 million. And then last week you told me you guys did 6.4 this past year.
Yeah, it's almost 6.5. So that's been quite a jump.
Yeah, that's awesome. Last question here. Why would you recommend other business owners to thrive?
I think as a business owner, we function like firefighters. So we are that person that everybody calls we're the fix-it people. Hey, we have a problem over here, we have a problem over there. And I think that sometimes we get caught up in this reactive state. And so as far as our business is concerned, you get in a rut where you're not able to grow it because you're spending your time doing things that, if you could just get ahead of the curve, you're not going to be having to do those things. So I think as a business owner, to give you the control that you need over your business, to get control of your own schedule, have more control over what's happening in your business and the growth and development of your business. You guys are just amazing to get business owners on track and to evaluate where our weaknesses are and strengthen those areas.
This is your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time.
Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. Proverbs 10:4. I'm here to tell you, you can do it if you can just motivate yourself. 12 the masses had to cut off a few, so on the daily you and I could rendezvous. A misshapen tree that I had to prune. I had to make cuts to be here daily at noon. So like a tidal wave of knowledge monsoon, I could rain on the parades of those of doubt in you. Are you the next Rockefeller or the next guru, or the next Dr. King who's changing the rules? Walls are in your way, will you run right through? Like a running back, fourth the one, it's up to you. I remember my days back in the dorm room, tuned to the gloom like the temple of doom. Overwhelmed with the doubts that try to consume my hope for the future that I could pursue. But from the mountaintop now I can conclude that you have what it takes if you want the view to.
This is your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time. It's your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time.
This moment is profound cause you're above the ground. Your road might have been rough, but what you got now is now. We're here to pick you up and to even show you how, but you gotta be resourceful with that old plow. Started from the bottom, but I worked my way up, cause by 4 a.m. I've always been prayed up. Rise and grind as your time, don't dare let up. You gotta get it, don't quit it till your seeds grow up.
This is your year to thrive.
Come on.
Success you will find.
Yes.
Today is your day.
Somebody say.
And now is your time.
It's your time.
It's your year to thrive.
Come on.
Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time.
It's your time. We all have a wish and we all want to win, but we cannot begin without self-discipline. If you fall on your face, get yourself up again. Attach yourself to goals, not fail with the friends. When the storms get rough and they scatter and leave, you only be there with yourself and what you believe. We believe in you, but not as much as God does. If you're going through hell, he's got nothing but love. Apply what you learn, increase what you earn, and in due time you have money to burn.
Apply what you learn, increase what you burn, and in due time you got money to burn.
Sing it.
Apply what you learn, increase what you burn, in due time you got money to burn.
Sing it.
Apply what you learn,
Sing it.
increase what you burn.
Yes.
In due time you got money to
With this
burn.
miracle, I look to shout down the doubters. Kill the weeds that be killing your dream flowers. Empower you to devour all the obstacles that make your sweet dreams sour. As for me, I used to stutter, but now I'm on the microphone smooth like butter. If I can do it, I know you can too, but you must stick to it like postage do. And while Merton's on the chorus, singing what he sings, I encourage you to dream big dreams.
Today is your day.
Today's your day.
And now is your time.
It's your time.
This is your year to thrive.
Sing it.
Success you will find. Today is your day.
It's your day.
And now is your time.
It's your time.
Today is your day.
Come on.
And now is your time.
Sing it, Martin.
Today is your day. Now is your time.
I realize I can't sing like that, but I can talk and play the woodblock. Okay. If you guys need me, I'll just be over here.